Hello. Right, my call sign, Mike 7 Echo Uniform Papa, and also my channel name. M7EUP. The M7 here in the UK indicates that I'm a foundation level license holder, and as a foundation level license holder, which is basically the entry level license holder, there are certain license conditions that I have to obey. One of those is that I'm limited to 25 watts at the antenna, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, I think I've proved in my live streams and various other bits and pieces that I can certainly get out there and make contact and have a lot of fun on the radio. However, today on the 3rd of June 2025, I have been on the RSGB website, gone to their book an examination page, and I have booked my intermediate license exam for the 30th of this month. So essentially I've got 27 days to get my head in my books, do my revision, get some learning done, and prepare for an exam on the 30th of June. What does that mean? Well, intermediate license level holders, also similar license conditions, but the power that you can have at the antenna is now 100 watts here in the UK for an intermediate license holder, which at the moment is all I'm capable of. That's what my radio's maximum power output is, and have no plans on getting big expensive linear amplifier or anything like that right at this moment in time. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to. So this is the start of my journey, day one, working towards my intermediate level license. If you're wondering about my call sign, at the moment, as in right now on the 3rd of June 2025, I will be issued with either a 2 Echo 0 or a 2 Echo 1 license, and then there'll be a suffix, so it would maybe something like 2 Echo 1 Echo Uniform Papa if I wanted to keep the same suffix. However, that is changing. So instead of it going M7, 2 Echo 1 and then onto an M0 or something like that, it will go M7 and then M8 or M9 for an intermediate, and then onto your M0s and everything else for your full licenses. But we'll get to that bit when we get there. It was planned for the beginning of the year, but there have been some delays. So I'm hoping to get my 2E0 or 2E1 call sign, and then that will automatically change to an M8 or an M9 call sign a little bit further down the line. So stick with me as I go on my journey to getting my intermediate license. See you soon. Good morning. It's been a couple of days since I signed up to do my intermediate license and booked my examination. So just a quick update. I have ordered the latest edition version 3 or release number 3 of the intermediate license manual from the RSGB. It's important to get this if you are doing your intermediate license, as this is the new syllabus. There are a lot of older versions, the version 1 and version 2 of this book going around, and they're out of date. They don't reflect the license changes that happened about a year ago, 18 months ago. So I got that. Also dug out my old scientific calculator, as you'll need that for the examination. Bought a new notepad. What else did I do? Oh, I've been having a look around as well at training material and training courses for the intermediate license. There is one that's available. I'll show you it on screen now actually, which says that it reflects the latest changes to the license, and is a sort of like online training and revision course. So signed up for that. I think I used this one for when I did my foundation license, I'm pretty sure, just because there was a lot of good mock exam papers on there that I could work through and see where I was going wrong, them sort of things. So yeah, I've done that as well. And the reason that I've chosen now to do this is the same reason that I chose to do my foundation license, which is that here in the UK there's a TV series called Love Island. It goes on for about 6 weeks or something. Awful. But my other half loves it, so she watches it religiously, which gives me an hour 6 nights a week, 1 hour every night, 6 nights a week, where she watches that and I've got an hour to do what I want. And usually I tend to play radio in that hour, but I'm going to use that hour 6 nights a week to start studying my intermediate license. So anyway, that's it, that's where we're up to. Now the work starts, and I believe section 1 is all about licensing conditions. So over the next day or so, I'll be getting my head in my books, learning about license conditions for intermediate license holders. So that's where we're at. I'll update you again soon. Well, here we are again, up on the Yorkshire moors, walking the dogs. That's why I tend to do these little video updates whilst I'm out walking, because it's peaceful and gives me time to contemplate and think of what I've been doing this day today. So 2nd of June, it's been a few days now since we've got the intermediate license manual, and I've downloaded the reference data. Reference data, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, you get a sheet that you can, it's the only piece of paper that's got anything on it that you can use during the exam, and it's issued by the RSGB, and basically that will give you an example band plan. It will give you your resistor colours and all of the relevant equations you will need to calculate things like resistors in series or capacitors in parallel, and frequency and those sort of things. All those equations are given to you. So yeah, I've got my book, I've got my reference data, my calculator, my pen, my notepad, and I've just been working through the RSGB Intermediate License Manual. Yeah, it's going okay. I think as I roll on towards being 50, information doesn't seem to go in as fast as it used to do. An unfortunate side effect of the passage of time, I believe, but I'm doing okay. So far I've gone through all of the license conditions module. That seems okay. There's been some changes to that since the changes to the licenses last year, but nothing too major. And the changes that they have made are quite clearly stated. So if you remember those from your foundation, you know, you should be okay. Just make sure you go over them again and just double check the wording of things. There's quite a lot of help out there if you want to, you know, really get into it, or ask at your local club, those sort of things. Also been doing a lot of circuit theory, working out, you know, multiple things in parallel and series, the various equations for doing that. That's something I've not done for a long time, but it's slowly going in. Potential dividers. I had to read that about 5 times before it actually sink in and go in my head. But don't let that worry you. That's just me being a bit thick. So yeah, it's going okay. What else have I done? Antenna theory. You know, the antenna module. I quite enjoy that. I'm quite into antenna theory anyway, so that's all fairly straightforward, fairly easy going for me. I think propagation is the next thing I'm going to look at. That's in you learn some basic propagation during your foundation, of course. It's just a little bit more detailed, a few more things to learn, and yeah, slowly plodding through. My learning style tends to be read a section, make notes. Physically writing it down with pen and paper helps me to absorb the information, and then going over my notes, going back to it, rereading it, and you know, I don't know, it's okay. I'm not too concerned at the moment, but it is only 2.5 weeks until the exam, so fingers crossed. Keep working through the books, and hopefully, you know, we'll be ready in 2.5 weeks time. Anyway, I'll update you again in another couple of days, and we'll see where we're at. See you for now. Alright, here we are again, and it's the 15th of June. Right at the start of this video, I said that I'd booked my intermediate exam for the 30th of this month. So I'd been working through the intermediate license manual, also the Golf Mike 6 Delta X-ray course, intermediate course, the online course, and doing the RSGB mock examinations. There's 3 of those, and also the mock examinations that come as part of the course for the Golf Mike 6 Delta X-ray And yeah, I don't know if I've made a mistake, I shall let you know, but basically what's happened is I was kind of scoring in the sort of 95% marks on the various mock examinations, and I was thinking to myself, I'm at a point now where, bearing in mind the pass rate for the intermediate exam is 61%, so you need to get just over half of the questions right. Now, I'm not thinking I want to scrape by, but I'm thinking my level of knowledge right now is going to put me sort of like in that 80-90% on the exam day. So I thought, right, I'll give the RSGB a ring, and rather than stretching this out for another 2 weeks or so, let's see if I can get a slightly earlier examination. So I rang the RSGB, ended up putting it all into an email and sending it off, and yeah, they've rebooked my exam for me, which they wouldn't, you know, it's not normal practice to do so, but they have done. And yeah, Tuesday, in 2 days' time. That came as a bit of a shock. Anyway, I have my exam in 2 days' time now, which would be, what is it, 16th, 17th, 18th? What? No, it's the 15th today. Sorry, my head's all over the place. Didn't get much sleep last night. Yeah, the 17th. My exam's on the 17th. So I got an email from Dave Wilson, who's one of the invigilators, and he took me through the process of the examination. Obviously, it's been a little while since I did my foundation. A few little differences. It's an online exam. You need to have 2 methods of video recording. So basically, there's going to be a webcam looking at me so that I can speak to Dave prior to the exam. Obviously, there'll be silence during the exam. And another camera needs to be set up wider angle, looking down at what you're doing, just so that they can make sure that you've got any secret notes anywhere or anything like that. He's also given me a spreadsheet with some more mock examinations on, and yeah, Tuesday. I'm actually quite nervous now, to be honest with you. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm still working through the various mock examinations. What I tend to do is I'll work through the mock. If I get to a question where I'm not 100% sure of the answer, I'll go back to the manual and I'll reread that section again. Obviously, you can't do that in the exam, but I'm trying to just find the gaps in my knowledge and fill those in. So I'm pretty good on most stuff at the moment. A few gaps, especially when it comes to, for some reason, transmitters and receivers and the block diagrams for various different transceivers, AM, FM, SSB, CW. Can't quite get those to stay in at the moment, but we're getting there. 2 days though. I suppose the next video will be me setting up for the actual examination. But yeah, I appreciate this video is just me waffling a lot and talking to the camera, but I just thought I'd take you on my journey and my thoughts as I work towards my intermediate license. Right, so I'll catch you in the next video where I'll be setting up for the exam. See you later. Hello, it's E-Day. E being for exam, obviously, in case you haven't worked that out already. So it's about 25 past 10 in the morning. I have had a nightmare start to the day. So, woke up at about 5:30. My partner had an awful migraine, so I've been looking after her. The dogs have not been great. One of them's got a bit of an upset tummy. The big ginger was that one, Douglas. So I've been that to deal with. Kind of wanted to just get up today all fresh and do a little bit of last minute revision, I suppose. But the day's just not panning out. Had some bad news about a very good friend of ours yesterday. So that as well. Anyway, another 5 hours or so, I'll be sitting down to do the exam. So wish me luck. Yeah, be prepared. I don't feel very prepared today. Anyway, I shall show you the setup for just before I sit my exam, and then obviously I'll let you know how I did. Right, here we are. I don't know whether you can see me or whether I'm in frame or not. it's almost time to actually to sit the test. Basically, all you're allowed to have is scientific calculator, a pen, your reference data, and a few sheets of blank paper, which you'll have to show the invigilator to show that are blank, that you've not got anything. I'll also be showing the desk area to make sure there's nothing written or hidden anywhere that I could read or use. We have the test reach, which is actual examination application, which is where the exam, I'll be doing the exam. And here on this screen we have Zoom, and that's it. And I've got some water. Yeah, nervous now. But let's see how it goes, and wish me luck. I passed. I am now an intermediate license holder. Well, actually, what will happen is the results of my examination will get sent across to from the RSGB to Ofcom, and then in a couple of days' time I'll be able to go onto my Ofcom account with my candidate number, and I'll be able to get my new call sign, which I'm hoping will be 2E0 EUP, just to keep the theme going. But yeah, I'm really surprised. I finished with a score, it worked out about 80, I got 40 out of 46, so whatever the percentage is on that, I'll pop it up on screen. Some of the questions were really tricky. Designed to test you, really threw me, had to flag them and go back to them after I'd got to the end just to write them down again, think about them. And it wasn't the math stuff, and it wasn't the electronics or the circuitry. It's just silly things where there are two potentially right answers and you've kind of just got to pick the most right of those two answers, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you very much for watching me go along this panicky journey to getting my intermediate license. I do regret bringing the date forward, I must admit. I think I put a bit too much pressure on myself there, but yeah, I've passed. So very shortly, you'll be seeing my channel name change to my new call sign, and I will be able to transmit with 100 watts of power, which I'll need to do some testing just to make sure, because obviously you need to make sure that you're EMC compliant, EMF compliant and everything else. But yeah, okay, thank you. I'm very happy. I'm going to go celebrate now. See you later.